me just see if this actually works. It does. All right. So I'm Nikunj Patel. My team call me Nick. It's easy to pronounce, so be it, right? I'm gonna try to keep this interactive. Rather than just presenting, I'm gonna try to talk because that's what I'm better at doing than just presenting stuff, right? So again, the idea is learn, contribute, grow, and then pay it forward, right? So let's just talk about this a little bit. I'm gonna start with a question that I'm expecting an answer of. If no one steps up, I will. So let's just start with this question. And I'm a software developer, so I can keep it to software developer. But think of a technologist that you know, and who do you think has the basic skills that they need? And especially for software developers, what is the skill that they require other than coding?
Listening.
Listening.
Communicating.
Communicating.
Learning.
Learning.
Consulting.
Consulting. Great, right?
Google.
So yes. Sorry?
Google.
Stack Overflow, yes. Yes, cannot live without it.
Copy
Right?
paste.
Yeah. So I'm going to focus on two. Communicating, learning, right? Because that's where I'm going towards here. So let's just say communicating and learning. And we know that coding nowadays is not just sitting in front of computer pumping out code for 8 hours anymore, right? It's as simple as coding is the simplest task in whole development life cycle, right? Because that is where you just type. Everything before and after is hard. You know, just planning, architecting, designing, and when it goes to production, maintaining things, right? So, we know that communication is one thing, obviously learning is one thing. Who's the base technologist you know? Let's say software developers. Anyone think of the software developer that you follow? Ken Beck.
Martin Fowler.
Martin Fowler.
Ron Shutt.
Yes. All right, so well, we got some, right? And fortunately, we have them here, so it's great. But why do you think they're great? Have you worked with them personally?
From what I've read what they posted.
Okay, read their post. Well, proves the point. So we'll get to the next thing. Why contribute, right? Let's just think what they did. They developed a software, which is all of us pretty much do. Then they just basically said, hey, you know what? This is a good thing. I'm just gonna take this a little bit further and I'm gonna give it to the community. And let community basically figure out how to make it better, give me constructive criticism, hack and use, Reddit, whatever, right? So they did that. And then what we did was we learned from it and we grew. So from a junior developer, I became senior by reading someone's work, right? And learning on my own. So they did contribute. So why should we contribute, right? Now, I can go at a story at Frontline. I work at Frontline Education as a senior software developer. I'm just gonna keep it short, but here's the idea. We know that there are stages of software development, and especially in a career growth, right? We start as a junior, go to mid, senior, lead, manager, so on and so forth, right? And in my case, we have 10 developers in our team. We have 4 seniors and 2 leads right now. 2 chapter leads is what we follow, right? Now, thinking, how many chapter leads can we have at most? 2, maybe 3, 4. What happens to other 6 guys who want to grow, right? It's a competition, but at the same time, there has to be something where they can grow. And this is what I'm getting to. It can be people skills, it can be communication skills, it can be how you blog, how you contribute back to community, right? Now, you are not just learning on your own, but when you do that, people will come back and say like, yes, this is really great and I love it, or yeah, you did this, but what about this? And you grow like, oh, you know what, I didn't think about it, but since you contributed, someone came back and said, wow, great thing, you know? So that's what I'm kind of getting to. So what it helps is it helps you to become a really great professional developer, right? And you can take the skills in your personal life and you'll be really great because you have those communication skills. You're not coding 24 hours a day, right? You know how to talk to people, which is what social media is ruining kind of, but it's also improving there, right? So it helps you there, which kind of proves the point. Also leave a legacy, right? Legacy, bear with my pronunciations, but leave a legacy, right? Martin Fowler, 50 years from now, people will still be reading their books, right? Bob, Uncle Bob, well, clean coding. Whenever you think about clean coding, you just think about Robert Martin. Why? Because they contributed, because we learned from them. So this is one thing where I think those 6 developers that may not get to chapter lead can still grow here and still feel better about themselves. It's just that satisfaction that you get by contributing, right? Paying it forward, saying, I know this, I'm gonna give it to someone, right? So what does it mean for your organization? It helps invest in people. Everyone should do that, not just technical, but communicating. Once you start communicating, more programming. What are you doing? You're just communicating, right? And communication makes things easier, gets you to better products, right? Accelerate growth as a company because you're delivering faster. Attract, hire, and retain top talent. What if someone said, let's go work with Uncle Bob, or let's go with Martin Fowler? What would be your choice? Yeah, up for it, let's do it, you know? I'll work for no money for 6 months because I'm gonna learn a lot, right? That's the idea. You create talent in your company that will attract more people and say, this is a great company. Why Google is great? Because they do something and they contribute. Netflix, Amazon, they do something and contribute, right? So, going back to Mahatma Gandhi, you must be the change you want to see in the world. I want to start contributing, so I'm gonna, I want to learn from someone, which means I need to be contributing as well. I'm trying to be that change, right? So, here's where the fun part starts. Time for a demo, right? It's good to talk, but how can I do this, right? So let's just say, just give me one thing that you learned from this conference. Someone?
Zombie.
What was that?
Zombie.
Great. Okay, can you just tell me a sentence about it?
Yeah, it's an approach to TDD that
Mhm.
structures the way you think about the test you need to build.
You just contributed and I learned something. As easy as that, right? Just put it in words, just put it in your Slack channels and say, hey, here's the block I found. You still contributed, right? I learned Mikado, I learned how to be good at refactoring. I learned it, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna do a lunch and learn with my team, and that's gonna help. Well, out of time, but I hope I get the point across, right? So.